Hello and welcome to She Boss Talk. I am Shante Roddy. I am coming on with some important updates regarding the SBA funding programs. Very important updates. We're going to focus on the Paycheck Protection Program, the Eidl program, which is the Economic Injury Disaster Advance and Loan programs, the new Restaurant Revitalization Grant program that is rolling out that was announced earlier on Friday of last week, and then the Shutter Venue Operators Grant that is expected to reopen this week. So this is for entrepreneurs and small businesses out there who want a financial lifeline for yourselves, your families, and your business. Come on in. I see you all joining us. You're coming in. Just let me know who you are, where you're hailing from, what your business is. Okay. Let's start with the Paycheck Protection Program. Okay. The Paycheck Protection Program is the money is almost exhausted. We're down to 40 days till the deadline, and there is literally $40 billion left. So time is of the essence for getting access to these programs. So we need more small business owners, entrepreneurs to find out about these programs. So please do share. Do tag your entrepreneur, small business peers and friends out there that you know that still are struggling, that may not know about these programs that are happening, because there's still millions of you out there. And I just got off of a SCORE call. I am a SCORE mentor. And so we are ramping up for a lot of these different programs. And so I'm able to bring you updates out of the discussions that we are having at the higher levels that we get directly from the SBA and from the leadership of the SCORE office. So this is so important that you all take the opportunity to get access to the funding, and more specifically, those that are in disadvantaged communities, those minorities, women businesses, veteran businesses that we know are often left out. As you're coming on, I see you all out there. Do ask your questions, so I will make time for Q&A. So I know people are always in my inbox. You have questions, ask them on this broadcast, and I will try to answer as many as I can. Do give this a thumbs up so more people can see this video. Do share out this broadcast and our channel as well. And if you have not subscribed, subscribe. Okay, Paycheck Protection Program, $40 billion left. We're down to 40 days until it closes out. If you are an entrepreneur, gig worker, self-employed, a small business owner with 500 employees or less, and you were in operation in your business on or before February 15th of 2020, you will qualify for this program. I highly encourage you to apply if you have not applied already for this program. This is a forgivable loan program, which means you use the funds for eligible expenses. You submit a simple application to your lender for forgiveness, and you can get 100% of your loan forgiven. That turns into a grant. What are grants? Free money for your business that you do not have to pay back. Okay. That's why this program has been so popular. That's why it's so important for you all to get access to it. The new President Biden implemented changes about a month and a half ago to allow millions more of us to get access to this funding. Okay, so when it first opened, I was not even eligible, okay, because of how they calculated for self-employed, because my expenses, it took me my revenues down to a level which they were basing the calculations on net income. They changed all of that, which now if you are self-employed, filing on a Schedule C form, you can now calculate based on your gross business income, which means more of you are going to qualify for more money. Then on top of that, you can even use for the calculation, you can either decide if you're going to use 2019 or 2020 income. And I would use whichever one is going to reap you more money, because you can do the calculation yourself before you even apply to know how much you would potentially get. This is also for those that are on unemployment, who are saying that, oh, I didn't know I could apply because I'm on unemployment. or I don't want to mess up my benefits. You are not going to mess up your benefits. At the time you are funded, you just stop filing your unemployment claims because you're on unemployment because that's your income replacement. At the time you get funded for PPP, that is your income replacement. That is your salary replacement, your owner compensation. These are different terms, just depend on which one you use. They all mean the same thing. You just spend the money, the PPP funds, for the weeks you're going to spend it, you're going to allocate it, then you just don't file the claims for unemployment. If after you use the funds, then you still need to file unemployment after that, then file unemployment, right? File unemployment. But don't let that stop you from applying for the Paycheck Protection Program, because this is one of the better programs that are out there that is available for you to apply for, and it's available right now. Time is running out. We do not anticipate that this program will still be open on the May 31st deadline, and the money is running out. With that said, Senator Ben Cardin, who is the chair of the Small Business and Entrepreneurship Committee, right, in Congress, and has initiated a bill for farmers and ranchers and self-employed individuals that will provide some additional relief. And so I'm going to explain to you how. Now, how they would execute this, if they have time to do it, we don't know, but it has bipartisan support. So one of the things they want to do is extend the deadline again from May to June. But the biggest thing is that those of you that had applied for the program and were funded when the calculation was based on your net income, and you've been asking, oh, what about the retroactive? Why can't we get retroactive increases based on the new changes? Well, with this proposed bill, that would happen. Because under the current bill, you cannot get retroactive payment if you were already funded, right? So you had your first draw in 2020. It was based on your net, so you got that smaller portion. You could not get it retroactive. Under this bill, if it passes, you would. So then the SBA, they would have to figure out how to do that. But how great would that be? Like, you get a bigger sum. You would get and when I say bigger sum, all you have to do is a calculation. Okay. If you want to know how to calculate, go to our videos. We have explainer videos on all the programs, everything related to the program. You can find an explainer video for these programs. So the calculation is huge. It can make a big difference in your business. So we're watching out for that to see, because again, they don't have a lot of time to negotiate, right? They want to try to move this quickly and get this passed. And if that does, how many more millions of small business entrepreneurs will that impact? It's going to impact a lot of you out there. So again, don't wait, right, for this to happen. While the money is here, funding is available, apply. You can apply with multiple lenders. I say start with where you bank at first. If your bank does not have applications, move on to other lenders. There are other hundreds, not thousands, of qualified lenders that are approved through the SBA. We have resources in the description, in the show notes. So you all know that I'm with David Allen Capital. We're accepting applications, Womply, PayPal. These are some of the ones that I work with closely that I know are doing a really good job as far as customer service and processing quickly. I had just announced earlier today that I received on one of my businesses the second draw, the funding deposit in my account for second draw funding for PPP. So I'm very excited. And I did not wait. I have already allocated the money. Okay. So for the next 8 weeks, it's automatically recurring, being paid to me. And I set myself up. I am set up as a payee. So my business pays me my owner's compensation or my salary replacement at whatever intervals that I set, in which I set every week that I'm paid. Okay. So that is a way that you can do it as well. You may, if you're using an accounting system, there may be an owner's draw a category in there, or if there's not, you can create one. Okay. So whether you're utilizing your bank to do this transaction or you're using your accounting system, it really doesn't matter, but you need to be able to show that you are paying yourself. Right? As self-employed, you can spend $100 100% of the funds on your salary replacement. 100%. You don't have to. You can spend 60% on your salary and 40% on other eligible expenses, but that's not a requirement. For those that have employees, it is. You must spend at least 60% on employees and then 40% on other eligible business expenses. And again, this is for the Paycheck Protection Program. If you have applied, please let me know in the comments. Let me know if you've applied for first draw, if you've applied for first and second draw. I would also like to know if you've been forgiven, because once you apply, once you use the funds, you do not have to wait. What you do need is to make sure that your lender has opened up the application process for forgiveness. They may still be setting up their portals, but monitor that closely. Once they open up the forgiveness portals, you are free to submit your simple application. And there's a video. We have a video on that. It's super simple for those that have that are funded $150,000 or less. In PPP, the application is super simple to get your loan forgiven. So don't be afraid that this is a loan. It's a forgivable loan, and it's not based on credit. For all of those that keep asking, is it based on credit? No, it is not. That is not a factor. That does not mean that the business is not going to check, your bank might not check your credit, but it's not based on credit whatsoever. And the lenders that I mentioned, that has never come up as the issue. The process for me and the second draw, both were relatively quick. I said the first draw took 17 days. This one took 7 days. So it's different from lender to lender. People ask me, what is the turnaround time for this and that? It depends on the lender. We know a lot more people are applying now, so sometimes there's delays. Some lenders are more responsive than others. It's just the way it is. If you have applied for the program and it's been months, you need to be applying with another lender. I just explained to you, one, it took 17 days. The second one, it took 7. From beginning to end, it took 7 days. So if you're still waiting months, leave that application right where it is. I don't care who it's with, and then go apply with another lender. Whoever approves you first, that's who you go with. They approve you, you sign those loan papers, you make sure you save all that, the loan papers, the correspondence, all of that to a file. You sign your loan papers, you get approval, you get your loan number, and then they will deposit your funds into your bank account. Just a quick reminder, you want to make sure that you check in advance before you go even through this process with your bank to make sure your bank account is appropriate, set up to receive the SBA funds and in these large amounts, meaning that you have an account that has ACH debit or wire transfers capability, and that they accept large deposits. Some of you all that are using personal bank accounts, you're having issues where they may accept it, then they shut down your account. So then now you're in trouble for your other Eidl grant or other grants that you have provided the bank account with. Now it's shut down and you can't get your funding. You don't want that to happen, and it has happened to people, right? So it has happened to people, especially those that have personal accounts, or that may show up as an unusual activity where you're not getting $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 payments. So check in advance, let them know that you are expecting a deposit from the SBA or whoever you're expecting a deposit from in advance, and to make sure that it's all good, okay? That's important. If you're changing your banking information, somebody mentioned the other day, I don't know why people are changing. Once you start this process, don't change your banking information. Right? The people shutting down their banking, and you're just going to cause yourself delays or possibly miss out on the funds. There's no guarantee that once you've gone through the process and they try to issue your funds and now your bank account is closed or you didn't give them the right information, that they're just going to give you the money. It may be that they will deny you, or you may have to start the process from the beginning. It just depends on the lender. So let's not mess with our business and the information until, again, let the process play itself out. But that is the Paycheck Protection Program. I highly recommend that you apply for it. It's done it's just done amazing thing for my business and other entrepreneur businesses that I know. The great thing about this program as well is that you don't really have to have a legal structure like you do for other types of fundings. I recommend that you do. We have resources and tools to help you really position your business to get more funding, grant money, right? Free money, and other types of funding. But with these federal programs like PPP, you don't need an EIN, you don't need articles of incorporation, but you do need to prove that you are in operation. You do need to prove that you are making sales, right? So they will ask for your tax returns. I can't say that enough. Your 2019 for sure. You don't have to have filed your 2020s, but you need to have your tax form filled out. You can get the form directly from the IRS website at irs.gov. That's what I did, and I got approved. So I can tell you what I did, and I got approved doing it. But you will need to have your 2019 tax returns. They will ask you for your ID front and back. They may ask you for invoices and bank statements. Definitely, they want to verify your bank account. That it is open and active. They want to know where they're sending the money to, okay? So they're going to ask you for a lot of information pertaining to your business. You just have to be ready and willing to give it to them if you want them to give you thousands of dollars, okay? So that's that. Ask your questions about PPP. Someone just said that they just DocuSigned. Congratulations, 5 minutes ago. Okay, so it shouldn't, once you DocuSign, it shouldn't be that long. It's funny that I had mentioned yesterday, I think yesterday or the day before, that I said it is really good that I have a good memory, because once you get to that part where you DocuSign, they send you the loan documents, you approve, and you DocuSign. Before you actually get into DocuSign, they give you like 5 security questions. And I mean, they go back 25 plus years. So you have to remember that stuff. They ask you where you live, what color your car was, if you were employed in a certain place, right? So that's easier for some than others. I remember I had to think about what color was my car in 2014, right? So that is something you have to get past the security questions to get to the DocuSign form. So congratulations on that. One more thing regarding PPP, because it's simpler to do the first draw, is I find that is more challenging for some of you all to do second draw, just because of the fact that for second draw, you have to be able to show that you had a decrease in gross receipts from 8-week period or a quarter in 2020 versus that same period in 2019. I don't know why it's so complicated to understand that. I do know that a lot of like entrepreneurs that are not really using financial statements, accounting systems, are struggling more in this regard. If you're not keeping track of your sales records and expenses, it's harder for you to do these calculations. But the best thing to do is to pull a profit and loss statement. You can pull that, and that's out of your accounting system. So the best thing is to put all your information, all your sales, all your expenses, and then you can click a button and pull a quarter. You can pull a month, you can pull a week, you can pull a day to know where you are financially in your business. It's so important that you know. Right? If you had a 25% decreases for PPP. So you have to be able to show that. And that's what I did. I simply generated second quarter. I use second quarter for me because that's when I was hardest hit. Use second quarter 2020. I downloaded that and downloaded that same second quarter of 2019. And it clearly showed that I had a more than a 25% decrease. Now, what the lender explained to me was you can either do that or you can just pull the annual financial statement. So you can pull 2019 and compare to 2020. I did not go that route because I actually made more money in 2020, but it was at near the end. It was the second half of 2020. So every business's situation is different. So do what works for you. It was best for me to just focus on the quarters that I was hardest hit and not use the entire year, but some others still are struggling, right? So it may make sense for you, and it's simpler just to pull the 2019 annual statement and then pull the 2020 annual statement, and they will see the numbers. The numbers would tell, and they will calculate it, okay? That's basically how it works. That's PPP. Now, on to Eidl. You can drop your questions. I'm moving on to Eidl because SBA is managing a lot of these programs, y'all. I mean, so all I can say is be patient. They are a small agency, and they're rolling out and responsible for all these multi-billion-dollar funding programs for small businesses. So we have new leadership there. They're still small and working through issues, so just bear with them. Just know it's gonna be a process. Just know that it's gonna take time. We've been waiting over a year for our full Eidl grants. So I will wait until I get it. But I know I'm going to get it. Okay, so let's talk about the targeted Eid L grants really quickly. Let me know in the comments if you received your email invite. Right, this is for anyone that applied to the Eidl program on or before December 27th of 2020. You can get up to $15,000. So I'm going to explain to you how, but let me know if you got the invite, if you gotten approved. I already know one of my peers just let me know this morning that they got the deposit. Someone else let me know that they got their approval. And so now people are asking about if you've gotten your supplemental grant. So I'm going to talk about all of that. So if you got your approval for your targeted Eidl grant, let me know. And if you got your money, your full $10,000 of the balance thereof, let me know in the comments as well. So with this program, again, just a reminder, if you've gotten denied, we have a video on the top 5 denials. The SBA right now, they announced their official reevaluation process. This was not available before. You could not submit for reconsideration of your targeted Eidl grant. You can now. You can right now. So if you were denied the targeted Eidl grant, you can apply to have a reevaluation. It's the same as reconsideration. The terms are just different to separate the loan reconsideration process from the Eidl grant process. But you can submit your request, and they will review to see if you can still have a chance at being approved. Now, the max amount of the grant is $10,000, right? Because we should have gotten our full $10,000. They went through the first wave. They're still sending out the email invitations. The first, it went to those that got a partial grant. Next, to those like myself that had received nothing, zero, because the SBA ran out of funding. Okay, so I submitted my application. I'm waiting. And then I found out that there was a button that I did not hit. And I found that out by getting on the phone. So again, if this is a program and you've been waiting and it's been months and months, some of you that applied in February and you still haven't heard anything, what you need to do is pick up the phone. And the SBA does answer. I've never had a problem getting through to the SBA. On your email, they give you an email contact address and make sure they give it to you. It has sba.gov extension at the end, and they give you a phone number. Call for a status. If you don't have a portal, don't know where it is, don't know how to access it, call the SBA, ask them what your status is. Do they have everything that they need? Is there anything that you're missing? And you might find out that there is, like I did. Okay, so mine said processing in the portal. It said processing. It said everything complete, but it had this button that said submit for processing. And because I had not hit that button, it will stay in processing. Okay. That means no one's eyes is on it. No one is reviewing your application. So if you go on your portal and you see it says in process, right? And you see that blue button that says submit for processing, you need to click that submit for processing button. Okay. We did a video on that as well. Click that button so that it start, and then the status will move from in process to submitted. Okay. And then it should move from there. Once it's processed, it will tell you if it's approved or denied. If it's approved, then once it's approved status, then it will move to funded. And then you will get your deposit. Okay. There's no time frame on a consistency with the SBA on when all this will happen. The goal is 21 days from the time you submit your request to receive email approval or denial. Okay. So we already know it's taking most of us longer than that to be able to get it, but know that there could be something on your end that's halting the process. And there were so many people didn't know that they had to hit that submit button. So please go check in your portal to see what it says, because I don't want it to just keep sitting there, because once they run out of funding, they run out of funding. Okay, so I want your applications to be evaluated. So the maximum you could get is $10,000. Then there's a $5,000 supplemental grant. So now everybody's asking about who's gotten this $5,000 supplemental grant. If you've gotten the $5,000 supplemental grant, let me know in the comments. I don't know anybody that has. There's still millions of people that they're trying to get the $10,000 to. But it is at the time period that they said for within 41 or 42 days that they would start sending out the supplemental grants of $5,000. Now, for this program, for the first 10, you need to have 300 employees or less, be in a low-income community, and be able to show that you have a decrease in gross receipts. Again, like PPP, this one is of 30% or greater, okay? And they give you a chart to fill out, a table that we also reviewed in one of our other videos, where you have to put what you made in sales for every month in 2019, 2020, and 2021 up to today, the date. And if it was zero, you put zero. You're not going to put any unemployment or even any grant monies in there. All that they're asking you for business sales. Business sales. If it was zero, put zero. If it was $100, you put $100. Then they will look at it and see if you meet the 30% a decrease or not in comparable period. So it only has to be for an 8-week period. It does not have to be for the entire year. Okay. So if you were denied because they said you didn't have a 30% decrease and you know you did, you need to be filing for a reevaluation of that denial. So I know there's no reason I shouldn't get approved, but if I don't get approved and they say it's something about a 30%, I have the records to show that I had a 30% loss. But again, you don't know who's reviewing or the level of knowledge that they have and calculating. Hopefully they've been properly trained, but you just don't know. So just be willing to show your evidence that you should have been approved. So it's not enough to just say, oh, you denied me, I should have been approved. You have to back it up with some records, okay? That's just how it works in any type of situation where you're going through an appeal process. But that's the targeted Eidl grant, the $5,000 supplement. To qualify for that, okay, and it should be easy. And we don't think that there's anything at any additional application process because you're going to be approved for the $10,000. Then the $5,000 is for those that have 10 employees or less. Then how they're going to phase it out. Most people don't talk about these two phases. They only talk about one, but in the bill, it talks about two phases. The first phase that will get it, the 5,000, are those that were considered severely impacted or had a severe loss that's 50% or higher of a loss. Then the next would be those that are in the substantial loss or substantially impacted, that's 30% to 50% of a loss. Those two categories of business owners will qualify for the 5,000. That's how you could potentially get $15,000 through this program. And now what makes it better is that now you're not just denied and there's nothing you can do about it. You can actually take action. There was something you could do about it before, and we did a video on that, because there's always actions you can take. That's how we get these changes made. You have to use your voice. You have to use your power. You have to make phone calls. You have to go to the leaders and decision makers. I don't care if they have a reconsideration process or not. I made up my own reconsideration process. I would do whatever it takes to make sure that if I was improperly denied something, that I get it and that they are reevaluated. Whatever I have to do, I would do it. But now they have a formalized process that you can go through the reevaluation. So if you were denied, let me know. And if you have already submitted your evaluation to the SBA, let me know as well. So we already talked about some key reasons for the denial. Tax returns is one of them. So there were situations where people had their tax returns on file. They filed their tax returns in the IRS. It doesn't show in their master file that they're there, right? So that's not on you. That's on the IRS. So now the SBA has to then figure out what to do about it. The fact that your tax returns aren't on file with the IRS. That's part of their vetting process to make sure that you are who you say you are and you have a legitimate business that you didn't just make up like a lot of people have. That's just the reality. People made up businesses to get money out of this program and other SBA programs that are now being prosecuted. So that's important. I'm going to do actually another video on SBA scams and frauds because it's important. Because you think you're going to take the money and spend it on personal things. You're going to take a trip, buy some Louis Vuitton purse or whatever, and you think that that's okay. And then they're going to come back and then they're going to penalize you for that, and you may serve jail time. That is happening. This money is not for your personal use. This money, the SBA funding is for business use, business expenses. This is to help you recover from COVID-19, the impacts on your business that COVID-19 had, right? That caused you to suffer the losses that you would not have had COVID-19 happen. That's why these programs exist, right? Not for you to go take a vacation with their money. And if you try that, again, that's what's going to happen. Every day in the news, I see a new report that some person, what they did with their money, and now they're under investigation, or they've been arrested, or they've been prosecuted, okay, and about to be sentenced up to 30 years. I mean, is it worth it? So I will just say that to me, it's not worth it. I don't want to be behind anybody's bars. But that's PPP and targeted Eidl. Eidl loans are still available. So if you want to apply for the loans, you can apply through December 31st of 2021. They have extended or increased the loan caps. So hopefully you have received your email for your increase. So the loan caps are increased to $500,000 from $150,000, and it's been increased from 6 months of working capital. No, 6 weeks of working capital, excuse me, to 24 weeks of working capital. 6 weeks of working capital to 24 weeks of working capital that you can get under the Eidl loan program. The Eidl loan program is not forgivable right now. It does have to be paid back, but the SBA has deferred those payments to 2022. But the interest is not deferred. The payments are deferred. Okay. So there are talks. There's a push to have it be forgiven. It is not currently, but the loan terms, again, have a 30-year maturity rate and 3.75% interest for for-profit businesses and 2.75% interest for those businesses that are nonprofits. Okay. So the loans are available. So I would recommend that you do that. If you need an increase on your funds, on your loan funds, get that as well. Okay. So that's PPP, that's Eidl. One of the newer grant programs is the Shutter Venue Operators Grant, which we know opened, okay, to a massive applicants, and it crashed like soon after it opened. And so the SBA shut down the application portal. You can still register, and I highly recommend you do that. Make sure you get on the alert list. They are anticipated to reopen the application this week. So knowing that these programs are coming, it is upon you to get ready. They have so much information on the website at sba.gov for these programs. They have checklists to help you know what documents you're going to need. And I think for this program, this has a lot. Probably this and the restaurant revitalization grant is requesting the most information that you have to be able to provide. But the Shutter Venue Operators Grant, you must be in business as of February 29th of 2020. You must have your DUNS number, right, and your cage number, and be registered in the SAM system. So if you have not done that already, you need to get to doing it, because it could take a couple weeks for you to get all of that together to be even in the position to apply. And so this grant is for venue operators. Like I said, if you represent talent. So I know entrepreneurs and business owners that represent comedians, artists, musicians, and the like. So if you have a live venues business, or you represent talent that performs at live venues, if you have a museum, a theater, or know someone that does, let them know about this grant. So it's very popular, a multi-billion-dollar program that we anticipate will not last long. The funding will run out. It's up to $10 million grant. Up to $10 million grant. I did not say 10,000. I said 10 million for the Shutter Venue Operators Grant. So that's worth looking into. You can also get PPP, but know that whatever funds you receive will be offset by your PPP amount. So in the application, you will need to provide the information as far as how much first draw and second draw PPP you receive. My understanding is that you only have to provide that if you apply for PPP after December 27th of 2020. Okay, so that's the Shutter Venue Operators Grant. Again, we're anticipating that it will open by the end of the week. When it's official, I will come back on and provide another live update. We have at least 5 videos on the program to be able to help you through that. The SBA SCORE, the SCORE office, the SBDC are all organizations that can help you through the process of applying for that grant. So I would encourage you to reach out for that. I also provide consults. They are not free, but I provide consults on all of the programs. I have opened up my calendar. So I met with a couple business owners yesterday. Again, there are so many businesses that are struggling. So they need the help. They need the help they don't really know how to do. They may not have the business acumen. They may have not been organized in their business. I mean, that's just the fact. So they may have had a poor accountant or tax preparer that left them high and dry and didn't file their taxes properly. It happens every day. But you don't want that to keep you from missing out on the funding that is out here that is available. I mean, $10 million. That's the Shutter Venue Operators Grant. Again, 5 videos. You can go to our YouTube channel. I highly recommend you subscribe and watch the videos at your leisure. The videos alone have helped so many people get access to funding. And I mean, you're talking about thousands of dollars that you can get for your business, okay? The newest grant program is the Restaurant Revitalization Grant. Now, I said I was on the call with the SCORE team, and one of the mentors mentioned, and I was saying the same thing to myself, at how many businesses, like the eligibility requirements is like extensive, meaning there's so many more entrepreneurs and business owners that are eligible than you might think, right? So compared to all the other SBA programs. So I want you to pay attention to this. If you are in the food industry, if you think you may be in the restaurant industry, you need to take a look at this grant program. You can be a restaurant, a food truck, food cart. You can sell alcohol. You can sell snacks. If the public comes to you for any type of food or drink, you qualify for this program. This is a Restaurant Revitalization Grant. The SBA has already put information, a program overview, what you can expect. I did a video the other day, either yesterday or on Monday, walking through what you need to know to qualify and to get prepared for when they open the Restaurant Revitalization Grant. So it's not open yet. That's great, because you need to get ready. So you can be ready when they open up the portal. You don't want to be getting ready because, again, like the other grant, it's up to $10 million, and we do not anticipate it will last long. Now, the monies are going first to those that are veterans, women, and those minorities, and those that are in socially disadvantaged groups. And the money may run out when it all is said and done, and it may just go to those groups that I just mentioned there. Those are the businesses that have been hardest hit. So again, Restaurant Revitalization Grant. This grant does not require you now. It used to. It does not require you to be registered in SAM. You don't have to have a DUNS number. They decided to eliminate that part of the process, so it makes it easier for you to apply. I walked through this sample application, so you can be getting ready now. You already know what's going to be on the application. I walked through it. So you can fill all of that stuff in, so you can just have it. You know what, you're ready to plug in the information when they open up the portal. That's so important. So if you know anybody in the restaurant industry, caterers, bakers, I mean, the list is extensive. So most likely you qualify. And just think about, what would it be to get potentially $1 million for your business? It's up to $10 million for your business. I mean, even if you got 10,000 or 20,000, how would that help you in your business? That is the kind of money that we're talking about. But best believe they're going to ask you to provide documentation to prove who you are, your business, that you are actually in the restaurant industry. So what I explained yesterday is that for some of the categories that are listed there as eligible, they're saying that you have to be able to prove that you have at least 33% in gross receipts that are for that, right? That you can demonstrate goes towards, you baking, right? Providing bakery services. Because sometimes you have businesses, you may be a live venue and you may serve food to the public. You may be a restaurant too. You need to decide which one is your principal business, because you cannot get the restaurant grant and get the shutter venue operators grant. So you have to look at both and see which one is the best grant for you to go after. And then then get your information together. You cannot get both. But like the shutter venue operators grant, if you apply for the restaurant, you can get PPP too. So there's nothing stopping you from applying for these grants and getting PPP and Eidl and other grants that are available out here. Okay, so that's important to know. So again, this is the restaurant. This is the newest one. The application portal has not opened. We're anticipating that it will open in the next couple of weeks. They're going through a pilot. They're going to do a pilot program first to work through it. King. So what happened with the shutter venue grant does not happen with this grant. So they're going to actually pilot small business owners. This is just a test scenario to work through the kinks, any system issues. Then they're going to roll it out to those populations that I said. So veterans, women, and underserved communities is who it's going to be rolled out to. Okay, so I just talked about the Paycheck Protection Program, Targeted Eidl Grant, Eidl Loan, the Shutter Venue Operators Grant, and the Restaurant Revitalization Grant. Okay, those are the main programs. There's other grants. They even have debt relief programs for those that already have an SBA loan. But these are the major ones that you need to pay attention to right now and go after if they apply to you. Okay, so right now I'm just going to see what questions are out there. Again, if you have questions related to any of the SBA programs, I encourage you to let me know. I already know people have lots of programs because I get them every day, all day. Okay. Someone is asking about veterans. If you have a veteran business, you can apply for any of these programs that I just mentioned in here. It's not that it's just going to say veterans. It's that they're considered a minority group. And so when I mention veterans, that's the Restaurant Revitalization Grant. But they can, if you are a veteran and you have a live venue, you can apply for that grant. You can apply for PPP and you can apply for Eidl. You can apply for all of these. So someone is asking me, what do I recommend for someone that has credit issues? I think I'm clear on your question. If you have credit issues, I would recommend that you work with a credit consultant. I mean, if you need a recommendation, I know a couple of them that help with personal credit and business credit. You can send us an email at hello@shebosstalk.com. For grants, your credit is not even in consideration. So if you don't have perfect credit, it's not even an issue. It's only an issue for the loan. And so the only loan I talked about that it could be an issue is the Eidl loan, and you can file for reconsideration and you can overcome that denial even. But you need to know exactly what the credit issue is you were denied for. It's not always your credit score. It could be something else in your credit history that you need to address or account for or speak to be able to overcome that denial. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so I think I mentioned this before. So if you apply for the Paycheck Protection Program, you definitely want to request forgiveness. Just check with your lender on when they open up their forgiveness portal. But you need to use the funding first. So you have 8 to 24 weeks to use the PPP funding. And you need to document how you're spending the money. And people keep asking me, how do you document that? Okay, so you would document it in your accounting system, or you have it in your bank account like I demonstrated at the beginning of this live broadcast. where you can set yourself up as a payee. And you notate in the category on the memo notes. You can also use a spreadsheet that says where you're putting the money, how much you're using, how much you're allocating towards what. But using accounting systems is the best way to go, but not everybody has one. So there's always different options to be able to do that. Another thing is to have different accounts. So especially those of you that have a personal account and you don't have a business account, which I highly recommend, then you will need to create another account, checking or savings, and designate that as your PPP, as your account that you're paying yourself into, so that it can show that you've drawn money to pay yourself. And then you notate it either there or in a spreadsheet that this is what it was. You took it out on this day for this week, and it went from this account to this account. That's the easiest way I can explain it. Okay, so for second draw, someone else is asking me. For second draw, I use my bank because I always encourage you all to build relationships with your bank. And I had actually went in last week. I had scheduled a meeting with the bank manager just to start building a relationship, getting to know her. She was on quarantine when I had opened up my second business account, so she had worked with me over the phone with another lady that was there, and they really did a good job, and she was really kind, and I really wanted to get to know her. So I just went and met with her, and then during the conversation, I asked her, I said, well, I noticed that you're, I said, did you all stop offering PPP applications? And she said, well, we just reopened them. So the day I went in, they had reopened the applications. So I applied, and it took 7 days. Okay. But other lenders are great. I've used PayPal is great. Again, David Allen Capital, Lendio, Divvy, Womply is really, they have a fast track for especially micro, small, self-employed individuals. They work really quickly, Womply. So I know I've referred people there, and they've gotten funded really quickly. So there's a lot of lenders out here that are approved to work on behalf of the SBA. Someone is asking, what if you never filed your business? I don't know what that's regarding, if it's PPP. Again, I said for Paycheck Protection Program, you don't have to have a registered business. You don't have to have an EIN number. What you do need to have is your tax return that shows that you were working a business. Okay. So if your tax returns only show employment income, it's a wrap. Okay. You have to show, and this happens because I had just actually called someone that I know and was asking them, have you applied? I ask everyone I know, because people, they just don't know about these programs. And so a lot of times, like gig workers, independent contractors may not be doing their taxes correctly, or the people that are doing them for them aren't doing it correctly, or they're like, oh, I'm just not going to report my income. Then if it doesn't show up on your taxes, there's no way for the SBA or the lender to confirm that you are actually in business. So you need to, I don't care if you made $100. If you are operating a business, if you call it a side hustle, if you're making any transactions and you're exchanging money for services or product, you need to set yourself up as a business, period. And you need to identify that business on your tax returns. That's where I'm seeing the most struggle, is with self-employed individuals who they don't see themselves as a business. So, they're doing business transactions, they're using Cash App, which I don't recommend, but is that money that you're getting through Cash App, are you reflecting that on your taxes? That's the question. So, you can't have your cake and eat it too. You want to hide your money, but then you want the government to give you money. It doesn't work that way. I just have to keep it real. So someone is saying that they received the invite for the Eidl loan increase. Okay. Yeah. So you can receive up to $500,000, but it just depends on your income. And the calculation, like I said, is up to 24 weeks of working capital. So whatever that 20 weeks calculate equals to, that would be your cap, really. But you know, everybody makes different amounts in their business, so the calculation will be different, just like it would for PPP. Eidl submitted in submitted status for the last 2 months. Hopefully soon. Hopefully it is soon. I would just say, I would say every week or every 2 weeks, just do a check-in on the status. I mean, once you submit your information and they say that, ma'am, sir, you submitted everything, it's on us, it's taking us a while to process, then there's nothing you can do. It's out of your control. What you focus on is what is in your control, and doing that and doing it correctly, and monitoring your emails and your inbox and your spam folders. You don't, someone is asking about how to apply for the additional 5,000. You don't. You will hear from the SBA. Just like you received an invite for the 10,000, the SBA will let you know about the 5,000. It may just wind up in your bank account. So I monitor my emails and my bank account for deposits, because you just don't know with the SBA. Okay. Someone is saying they're in a low income community. Their status is submitted. Okay, I saw that. They're in a low income community. And some people are asking me, if you're on the verge of a low income community, you got the invite for the targeted Eidl grant from the SBA, I would say apply. What the most they could do is say no. The thing is that we are pushing to get everybody the full 10,000. So I would just apply. I would encourage you to apply for the program. If I know I live in a low income zip code, but if I didn't, I would still apply. The goal, what we're hoping for, is to get everybody their $10,000. That's what we're pushing for, advocating for, regardless of what community you live in, or regardless of if you have a 30% decrease in gross revenues. Yes, Sylvia. Yeah, that's what I said. I corrected that. 6 weeks and 6 weeks. It went. The loan increase went from 6 weeks of working capital to 24 weeks. Will we have to report how targeted advance is spent? You need to keep your records for everything. But this is what you need to know, is that PPP is federally tax-free. So it's federally tax-free. There are some states, check with your states on which ones are not tax-free, but from the federal perspective, your PPP is tax-free and your Eidl grant is tax-free. And you can use them, you can still get tax deductions for expenses that you use the money on. So that's the good point, the good part. But that's why it's important that you work with an accountant. Again, if you need a recommendation, please reach out to us at hello@shebosstalk.com. We will never ask you for personal information in the comments, so be wary of those spammers and scammers in our comments and people that pretend to be us. That is not us. I will always refer you to either our links that we have in the description and in the show notes, and we will pin resources to the top of the comments on our YouTube channel. Other than that, these other people, we can't block them fast enough. They just keep popping up. People in bots, I don't even know how they're doing it. But they're there to take advantage of small business, and we don't like it, and we report them as much as we can. Let's see. Target advance, we need to submit January through 2019 to December 2020 to present. I don't know if that's a question. But if you're talking about being able to verify the decrease, it goes back to what I said. So you would just pull a 8-week period in 2020 and compare it to that same 8-week period in 2019. Now, I don't know as far as, no, I do know. They're not asking for you have to provide all your sales for every month in the table that they provide to you. So it should match whatever you have in your accounting system. So people are asking me, and it's very hard if you come to me in my messenger inbox and ask me these types of questions without having a consult. Like, I can't just answer these questions because it's hard to explain, because people don't grasp how to calculate their income. Not everybody is financially savvy. That's where these accounting systems come into play that are very helpful. Because it's simple. It's just a simple button. All your money, all your transactions are already there, and you just pull it out of the system. But you need to be able to show your income. What did you make in January? What did you make in February? What did you make in March? You have to know that. You can go to if you're using PayPal, if you're using Stripe, if you're using Square, all of those fintech companies that you're using have the information there in the tools as well. I mean, for the second draw, for my newer company, that's what I did. I mean, I for both of them, I pulled my statements and used that for comparison as well. But I also have my profit and loss statements. Okay. So I'm just checking for any final questions. You can still also ask questions. I will always follow up after the broadcast. There are a lot of comments here, but I'm looking for questions specifically. Thank you all out there that are commenting. I appreciate it. Yeah, so people are asking me, like, if it's not a lender that I deal with directly, I would not know how long it takes for a lender to process your application. They're all different. All of them are different. There's hundreds, if not thousands, of lenders. There's no way I would know that answer. But they would. That's why you need to contact them, send them an email, call them. And if you think it's taking too long, ask them, how long is this going to take to process my application? Okay, that's all I can tell you to do. I cannot answer that question. I'm not the lender. The lenders only know that, but I'm telling you that there are lenders that's taking a bit more time for them. Some are more responsive than others. If one is not responsive, go to another lender. Submit your information there and then apply with another lender. Whichever one approves you first, then go with that lender. Fortunately for me, both of the applications I submitted went relatively quickly. My holdup was because I made changes because with the new calculations, I wanted to make sure I got the most money. So not only is it that the calculations help me to get more money, but I and you have the opportunity to decide which year of revenues you're going to use. Right. And then making sure I had those revenues, and I had to, again, pull down the 1040 Schedule C form off of the IRS website and fill it out. I did it manually, right? Because I have not filed my 2020 taxes and I was using my 2020 income. You will have to do the same thing. But I'm a tax consultant. So, I mean, I already know how to fill out Schedule C forms. Okay. All right, so those are all the questions that I see at this time. Continue to drop them in the comments. Again, if you enjoy our content, if you find it of value, we have helped you up-level your business, if we've helped you get funding for your business, do subscribe and do share your testimonials with us. We enjoy those. We share them often because we know that it's important to share, to let people know what is possible. Because we still have business owners that think that this is not possible for them, that there's no way they can get free money, or there's no way that they would qualify. They have no idea, but they can. So just know that you are qualified and just take the steps to better position your business to win more free money for your business. There's no reason why everyone that's all of our viewers can't get at least $100,000 in free money for your business. Not with all of these programs. And I didn't even mention all of the programs. I just mentioned the main ones. I didn't mention the tax credits. Okay, if you could go check out those videos. I didn't mention the national, international grants and pitch competitions. I didn't mention the state funding, the county funding, city funding in your local geographic area that you should be looking into. Use our resources to help you. We created these to help you. So you stop struggling with the process and that you can win a lot of this free money that is available. But once we create the tools, we provide it to you. It's up to you to have the intention and take proactive measures to secure the funding for you and your business. So we have the resources and tools. We have our links for our, if you need one-on-one help. Sometimes people just need more one-on-one help. And if that's you, we have limited spots available. They book up very quickly. So I would encourage you to get on our calendar if that is you. Okay. So whether you need PPP help with any of these other grants, Eidl, or just overall funding strategies to help you win more money in your business. Okay. So I hope this has been beneficial to you. Again, continue to be the boss with amplified impact and continue to stay safe and in good health. Have a wonderful day.